Hi, my name is Dakota, and this is the Better Ideas Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. A few weeks back, I got really into this band called Hunter Dumped Us Here because of their album I Understand. And I'm lucky enough to have a couple mutual friends with their lead singer, Gabe, and I got in touch with him months ago, and I was just hoping that their band would come to my hometown so that I could interview them. And I was lucky enough to finally have that happen. Gabe actually came through with his other project, Piano Stairs, and another guy named Gavin Scott, who is in a project called Lakenheath. They came through Lawrence about 2 weeks ago. So by the time you guys hear this, that tour will be over. But I highly recommend that next time they come to your town, you go see them because they're awesome. Or download their music on Bandcamp or go to my YouTube channel and you can see their live performances, which this is a first for me, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm happy to announce that if the artist wants to, I can do some acoustic recordings and take a video of it, and I'll throw that on YouTube separately, because why not? So if you guys are interested, go check that out. But this was just a great conversation because I've been really looking forward to talking to Gabe, and I unexpectedly was able to have Gavin at the same time, and I'm so glad that they both were able to make it. And Gabe, Gavin, thank you guys both so much for coming over and putting on a show in my room, and then putting on a great show at the Jackpot that night. So I will stop talking and get to this conversation. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Well, thanks for coming and doing this, guys.
Absolutely.
So I guess to start, we should have you guys just like introduce yourself individually so people can hear your voice and kind of get familiar with it. So if you guys want to take turns.
After you. I'm Gavin from Lakenheath.
Cool. So, okay, maybe like a short spiel.
That's it. Oh,
yeah. Where are you guys from? Because a lot of people that listen to this podcast are from Lawrence, so they don't. I haven't had really too many people as far away as you guys. So this is pretty cool. This is new.
Yeah, I'm from Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Okay, cool.
So, about 30 minutes north of Iowa City.
Cool.
If anybody knows where that is.
And you're just doing a solo acoustic thing.
Yep.
Also.
For now.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. But I noticed you have on your Bandcamp, it's like full band. So
yeah.
So is your goal to like start a band?
Yep.
Is that the idea?
I think the biggest thing is finding a consistent drummer that's local.
Yeah, that's a hard one for sure, man.
Yeah.
Cool. What about you?
My name's Gabe, and I am from Bloomington, Minnesota, and I play in Hunter Dumped Us Here. I'm the vocalist and founder of that band, keyboard player. Do a little bit of everything, and then I'm also Piano Stairs for solo purposes.
Okay. So what's up with that? Like, is Hunter Dumped Us Here are they touring at the moment, or are they slowing down, and that's what started this whole Piano Stairs thing? Because it's semi new, right?
Right, yeah, so I just started Piano Stairs like towards the beginning of the year. Hunter Dumped Us Here, we're still doing stuff. We released I Understand last year, which was 13 songs, so we're in the process of writing a follow-up full length. And we actually put out an 8-song EP actually just like at the beginning of this month on the 1st.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah,
that's
we
awesome.
Just dropped it as like a surprise because we worked on it for so long. We did it ourselves.
Oh, okay.
So we worked on it for so long that we were just like, let's get this out and not waste a bunch of time like leading up to it, because it's re-recordings of songs that were either just recorded like with just me before or never recorded. So what we did is we re-recorded those and we're like, let's just get them out. So October 1st that dropped. So
that's cool.
That's on Spotify and iTunes.
Very cool.
Hunter Dumped Us Here is we're still very much active. We had our guitar player get married this year. We didn't have him do it; he did it himself.
Yeah, but sure it was optional on his part.
Yeah, he had the choice. So he just did that. So we took a couple months off for that, and then just working on writing and stuff right now.
Okay.
We've done some traveling earlier this year, and we did more traveling and touring last year, and wanting to do a lot more of it next year. But for this period, we're kind of just writing that second full length. We have a couple shows coming up in both like in the cities and then elsewhere, like in Minnesota
Mm-hmm.
and in Iowa as well, where half the band is located.
Mm-hmm.
That we'll be announcing soon that those are kind of taking precedence over like touring right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Piano Stairs is basically, since I moved up to the cities, it was basically a way for me to have like a creative outlet, so I could still do stuff on my own, and you know, not always leave the band out of the Hunter Don't This Here stuff. Like, I can still include them in things and still do things on my own and travel, because it's, you know, much simpler obviously to travel as one guy with a guitar than it is with a band that's got keyboard, bass, 2 guitars and drums. So that's kind of what's going on with that. It's not like a replacement for Hunter Don't This Here. It's kind of just like an addition, something to really just, Hunter Don't This Here started as just me, and I love having it a full band. Like I wouldn't trade that for the world, but it was really cool, like to have the experience of starting Hunter Don't This Here and being able to just, when it was just me, do whatever, kind of having that creative freedom.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to have that again as Piano Stairs. Just to be able to say, you know, I want this weird lyric in here, and I don't have to worry about like anybody else having to answer for it besides me. Type of thing.
Okay, you had me worried for a sec, because
No.
I thought like maybe that was the replacement for Hunter Dumped Us and you guys were gonna slow down or stop making music or something like that.
No, that'll always be, that's like my baby. That's, you know, I started that in July 2013. So that's been like the most like hardcore passionate thing I've done with music, and I've put the most time and effort into that. So that'll always take precedence, and that'll always be like the primary focus. This is kind of a supplemental thing that allows me to, you know, to travel if time allows, and play music, and also just have that additional outlet, because I have way too many songs to just put into one band.
Yeah, I hear you. That's cool. I think a lot of lead singers find themselves not staying busy enough, so they kind of have to do some sort of side project just to work at their own pace. I'm kind of learning that on my own
Right.
at this moment. That's cool, because I heard about you from, I think Jordan originally, from Sweet Ascent. He was just telling me about you guys and said that you were one of his favorite songwriters.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and
Love you,
because I guess you guys played a couple shows together.
Yeah.
And then Zach made one of your videos, and I'm friends with him too. So we just like have a whole bunch of mutual friends, and I was like, how have I not met this guy yet?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we've been in proximity for years. So it's cool to finally be able to get this going.
Yeah,
get
it's
together.
Cool. Like it feels like in some ways, we don't play Lawrence like a ton, but it almost feels like in some ways that it's like a home away from home, from knowing just like Sweet Ascent, and you know, Zach's here as well, so just like all those guys are super cool, and you know, played a lot of shows with Sweet Ascent, seen their butts a lot. It's been great.
I'm sure you've seen more of them than you hoped, like everybody.
It's everything I hoped for.
Yeah, that's good. They didn't let you down.
No, not at all.
Good. Well, cool. All right, so I want to hear from you, Gavin, about just what, like, how, or really from both of you guys, but just like how the tour's been so far, like what this is, like what kind of spawned all of this, because it's different, you know, doing a split tour with 2 acoustic acts. So tell me about it.
I've got a friend who just moved out to Ohio, so it kind of stemmed from me wanting to go visit him.
Oh yeah.
And then it was just like, hey, Gabe, do you want to play like a couple weekend shows? And then like I was planning on trying to book shows out to Ohio and then back, and then it just kind of fell into place. Gabe was like, yeah, that sounds good. And it was like, you just want to do a tour? So, yeah. So I think, was it 9 shows?
I think it's 9 total. Yeah, 10 days, 9 shows. We just had an off day to see Modest Mouse, and otherwise just been playing every night. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it started out, you're just trying to visit a friend, and you're like, well, might as well book some shows while we're at it.
I was like, if I've got to drive, 9 hours to Ohio, like I might as well play shows.
Yeah, maybe get a little bit of money for gas, you know?
Yeah. Well, and Lakenheath, like the style of the music, like it's on Bandcamp, his EP, and it's full band and everything. And just like that style is one of my favorite genres of music ever. So like when he messaged me and was like, hey, let's do some shows together, and I like listened to the EP and everything, I was like, this would be so cool, and just like fit Piano Stairs perfectly. since I knew it'd be a little too crazy with Hunter Don't Us Here's schedule to like throw a Hunter Don't Us Here tour together on top of it.
Yeah.
I was like, well, let's just do it together then. And so yeah, we hit a bunch of places up and tried super hard to get everything booked in time. I think we started it just like a couple months ago, like started the planning like just over 2 months, and here we are now. So it came together successfully, and it's been really cool just to get out the two of us and, you know, play some songs to people that haven't heard them before.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, especially because I had only played, like, as far as Piano Stairs goes, I only played, like, 2 shows, just because I've been focusing primarily on writing and recording. And you mentioned Zach, like, I did, like, 3 videos with him and stuff. So I've really been focusing more on just, like, putting content out than playing shows. So it was cool to play this many shows in a row, just solo again, because I haven't done that in a long time. Like, ever since I added members to Hunter, like, I have just been playing full band shows most of the time. So to be able to play solo this much is like, it was a little bit daunting at first, because, I mean, like, obviously there's a lot of difference there. Like, you play a wrong note or sing a wrong note, it's a lot more obvious when it's just you and the guitar.
Yeah, definitely.
But it puts you into kind of like survival mode, like where you have to really just like hone in and do as well as you can.
So do you feel like playing by yourself and practicing as a solo artist gives you kind of helps you be better equipped to be a front man in Hunter Dumped Us, just because you're having to rely so much on yourself that maybe when you go to Hunter Dumped Us and you guys are playing a show, like you're more dialed in, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I would say that it also kind of feels like the difference of, you know, maybe like going up against something like fighting someone alone versus like fighting someone with just like a group of your friends, you know, like having all these guys like behind you, like, because just when you get on stage with that energy, it's so much more, I don't even know, like electric on stage. Like everything just feels so much more energetic. So it makes me appreciate the band that much more, you know, playing solo. And it's like I said, you really have to like hone in, and all the focus is on you. And then you've got your you know, you got your guys behind you and you're playing full band, and it's like you're all just one combined force, and it's a really powerful thing. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So I appreciate both of them for different reasons.
I don't think I ever actually had stage fright until playing solo.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming your experience is probably mostly with being in bands too, right?
Yeah, I played in a few other Cedar Rapids bands, but then this project kind of came up. I was living in Florida at the time and couldn't get anything going down there. So instead of just wasting time trying to put a band together, I just started writing as much material as I could, arranging all the parts, not just vocals and electric. So like.
Okay, so you play everything on that.
Everything
on the
but
main
drums.
key. Okay.
I had somebody else do that, because that goes over my head.
Okay. That makes sense. So how do you guys know each other then?
I think mutual Facebook friends, really. We were in the same scene together, but never really got to know each other. Hunter Dumped Us Here started just about the time that I moved away from Iowa, and then moved back, and I saw him play a couple times, and then it wasn't until a band I was filling in for played a show together that we actually connected.
I'm actually stoked that he liked our band, because the first show he saw us play, we actually had to stop like in the middle of our set, because somebody actually had like a seizure just in the middle of our set. So they like shut down the sound and everything, and we ended up starting back up, but just like it was like the first song, so like what a weird way, you know, to start off the set.
Yeah,
and obviously the most important thing is like to make sure that person's okay, but just like it was a very interesting first show to see. It was like we were opened up for the Spill Canvas in Des Moines.
Cool.
So yeah, it was. But I'm glad you liked it. We actually, our old bands in like 2011 probably played shows together, and we just like never really like connected or like knew each other. I wasn't as much into like meeting people and talking to people into that really then as I am now.
It was also a really weird venue. It was an old candle shop. I don't remember if it burned down and they rebuilt it.
Might have.
This was after the flood of Cedar Rapids, so it was very much a DIY, like, nobody really knew about it. So a lot of the bands like that started playing shows, it was just more of a focal point than some of the other venues, or like just ragtag groups of people. getting thrown on shows.
Yeah, those are my favorite shows though. Those DIY. Like we just went to. I just went and saw Nothing More at the Truman the other day.
Okay.
I hadn't been there. It's kind of a newer venue in Kansas City, and it's just like a warehouse with a PA system and stuff, and it's so cool. Those are my favorite types of. Yeah, it was a killer show. Have you ever seen them live?
I haven't. I've seen videos. Like I know that the guy like punches his throat like to get the. Like,
he does some crazy stuff, dude.
But, like they seem insane. I would love to see them.
Yeah, it was quite the show. That's for sure. But. Yeah, we don't need to talk about them. We'll talk about you guys.
We knew each other kind of without ever meeting, I guess, like without realizing we knew who each other were. And then when he moved back, I saw that he was working with some producers that I, respect and I'm familiar with them. So I was like, oh, this guy must be legit if he's like working with them. And then we just talked at some local shows, and I checked out Lakenheath, the EP, once he released it, and we just kind of went from there. And now we're here. Driving around in a Pontiac vibe.
Yeah.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
I like that.
Eating carrots.
Man, that's just a testament to how, like, tight-knit the music community is, though, because it just seems like that's how, like, whenever I talk to other musicians and say, like, how'd you meet this person? It's always, like, mutual friends, you're working with the same people.
Yep.
Like, you all had the same guy make your music videos or whatever it is. It's just, like, it's cool how tight-knit everybody is. Like, we're hanging out, you guys are from Iowa.
Yeah.
And like I've known about you guys both for like probably over a year, which is just pretty cool because of that tight-knit scene. So
yeah, and that's super awesome because I feel like with the music industry and how everything goes, like there's so many people that do things like maybe they shoot videos or they produce albums and they don't do it super well, that like when you find the people that do, like the Zachs of the world, like the people like that, it's a very common thing, for the same people to use them. So it's
I'm
surprised that if you're all finding, these talented, good people that are putting out great content and you're using them and their mutual contacts, that your paths are going to cross eventually. I think that's like a really beautiful thing because I really do think that as far as like advancing in the music business, as far as that goes, it seems to really just come down to like, besides talent, obviously, who like who your friends are.
Yeah, definitely.
Which sounds cheesy, but like that really seems to be what it is. If you've got a lot of friends, a lot of people, you're going to get a lot further than if you're just kind of isolated. And you could be amazing, but if you don't know people, you're probably not going to make it super far.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Okay, so as I said earlier, I heard about both of you guys basically because of Hunter Dumped Us Here. So I've been super into that, the album that you just released a year ago.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Sorry, I swear I have it on my phone. I bought it.
I have it here so I don't forget it.
There you go. I heard from, I don't know, probably one of our mutual friends that whole album is basically other people's stories.
Yeah.
Is that true? Like, can you tell me a little bit about that? Because that's really intriguing to me.
Yeah, so it's, I won't even say that it's like the most like original idea in the world or anything, but it's just something that like from our scene, nobody had, to my knowledge, really done anything like that. And Hunter Dumped Us Here was like right away when I started it, just because of the thematic content of the songs and like the sensitive nature. People were like telling me like, man, your music means so much to me, like I really connect with these lyrics and everything. And they would just start to tell me these stories and like, this is why this connects with me, like this is going on in my life. And so I just started thinking like, how cool would it be, instead of only ever writing about like my hardships and trials and stuff and my feelings, like to just kind of make like an album where each song is a different person's story, used with their permission, like with the intent of being a song. So what I did was just, whether it was like via email or just like a coffee date, I would just collect these stories from people that wanted to participate, and I'd take notes, and then I wrote lyrics about their story, like from their perspective. So essentially what it is it's 11 different stories of people. One of them's my own, and then the rest of them are just other people, from the perspective of the people that told them.
Okay, is the very first one, is that one yours?
So what it is it's kind of,
because it starts and it ends in a similar way.
Yeah,
I noticed.
So it's end capped with kind of like they're related tracks, but they're not as much stories as they are like. Basically, what it is it's a proclamation of we're all broken. Like none of us have it together. Like essentially, what is it? It's almost a disclaimer of like, I can tell these stories, but I don't have it together. Like I'm not at some better place in my life where I've achieved like complete stability and complete happiness or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of the last song, Sad, talks about like I'm not your guardian angel, and it's basically just like recognizing that we're there for each other, but none of us are like better than the other. Like I'm not arrived at some certain place just because I'm a musician. I still struggle with things, obviously. So those two songs, Beautifully and Sad, are kind of end caps to the album. And Beautifully Sad was actually going to be the name of the album originally. So that's why those songs are called what they are. And then we ended up changing it to I Understand. And then from Cavendish to, I think it's Dive into Pools of Transient Light, if I know my own track list. For whatever those 11 songs are, like those are all different people's stories with the end caps on them.
Well, the first time I heard it, Lost My Name, I was like, Gabe got divorced? But
it's so funny because I heard that you were getting messages like, hey, you doing all right?
So I think at the point you were 22.
Yeah, probably.
I was like
21 or 22.
Has he been divorced, remarried, or remarried the same person that quick?
He's lived a long life.
It's old soul, that Gabe fella.
Yeah, somebody told me that, and I was like, oh, everything makes so much more sense now.
Yeah, same here, because I was like, because when I heard Lost My Name, when I heard that one, I was like, I heard he was married, but I didn't hear anything about a divorce, so that took me off a little bit.
I thought it was all about Allie.
Yeah, so I heard some people, like it's funny, nobody really asked me like directly, but other band members from Hunter, like some people would be like, yeah, your album's good, but like, is Gabe okay? Because it's all over the place, and so like, if you don't know that it's like an album made up of stories, it definitely catches you off guard. But I like that because it forces you to like really pay attention and to kind of search. Like the reason that we didn't just like call it like stories or something like that is to leave it open ended so that it's something anybody can connect to. Like I don't necessarily. I'm not hiding the fact that it's an album made up of stories, but I don't necessarily just want somebody to think, well, this is just that person's story. I can't relate to it because we all relate to things that are in there.
Yeah, well, and that's what I like about you writing those stories as if it was from your own perspective, and then the album name I Understand is kind of almost a little bit of deception. Like you're almost hinting that like these are my stories, but then like you openly say that they're not. So it's like. Very artistic. There may be a cliche word for it, but like that's just how I think of it, is like the art of deception a little bit almost, where you're just like, it's open for interpretation. Because when I heard it, I thought either this guy got a divorce or maybe he's just writing it like a metaphor, like maybe him and his girlfriend got in a fight, or like I didn't even know you were married before I heard the song. Yeah. So I didn't know what to think of it, but then once I like kind of put the pieces together, and then like I listened to that album on a loop for a while there.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and I kind of I put the pieces together and heard that there were a whole bunch of different stories, and you could even tell like male and female perspectives, like all kinds of different stuff. So once you really like put it together and digest it, then it totally makes sense. Yeah. But I like that it kind of catches you off guard a little bit.
Definitely, and it's cool. It's been cool for me to see like how the people have grown that I've written the stories about. Like some of those were things that were happening right then in their lives. Some of those stories were things that had already, been in the past. But to see how much those people have done and accomplished, even since just talking to them has been really cool. Yeah. And it's a really special thing to be able to. Some of them are like some of my closest friends or closest, I guess what you call like fans that are like the most dedicated. Don't just hear followers. So to like have them come to a show and like yell the lyrics back that you wrote like about their story is a very like humbling and a cool experience to see how far they've come, yet they're still connecting to it because it's their story.
And it's like you're sharing a little bit more with that person than you would the average fan or listener.
Right. It's a really cool way for them to like connect to the song because it literally.
Have you thought about like maybe doing a follow-up on any of them? Like
Yeah, so not like specific to the stories, but the second album, it very well might be tied into that one. Like it won't be just another like set of stories, but kind of what we're working on right now ties into the topic of the first one. So
very cool.
I think it'll be really cool.
That's really cool.
I'm really stoked because some of the songs like for the new album we've had for a year. Like we pretty much started writing like before I Understand was out for the second album. So we've had some of these songs, they don't even feel like new songs anymore. And I'd say we're probably about over maybe like 7 songs, so we're over halfway as far as like writing the next album. It's just a matter of kind of like polishing it up and.
And you said you're doing it all yourself.
This one we'll go to a studio for that since it's such a big project. The one we just released was just like a EP of various songs, whether I had written them like when I first did Hunter Dumped Us Here.
Oh, okay.
Like
just kind of for fun, just like B-sides almost. Like
we play them live so differently now. Like there's a song called Ribcage that was the title track for my first ever EP, and it was just originally just like a grand piano and me singing, but now it's full band with like piano and you know bass and guitar and drums and even synths and stuff, and it's like way heavier. So we re-recorded those types of songs to give them an accurate representation of how we play it live. Because before it's like, oh, I really like that song live, and then if they look it up on Spotify, it's like me and a guitar. So like now we have accurate versions, so the songs that we're still playing regularly, you know, people can go hear on Spotify or Bandcamp, you know, the actual way that they are played. Yeah. And we also just put like all of our stuff for pay what you want on Bandcamp now too with the release. So like I Understand you can literally go download that for $0 if you want.
I already paid for it. Damn it.
I appreciate it, dude. I appreciate that.
Cool, man. That's awesome. I'm stoked to see you guys are still making music and stuff because I was a little bit worried there because it seemed like you were on a small hiatus there for a minute.
It's been an adjustment period, like with me moving up to Minnesota, just because we wanted to kind of expand our reach and you know get more involved with the scene up there. Just like it might be a little bit more better fit in some ways for us. Like we're still playing in Cedar Rapids and we love all of the people there, but just like doing that relocation and going through that process has, you know, caused a little bit of lag, and then also just with like the wedding and everything for our guitar player, but we're very much still going strong and looking forward to getting new stuff out beyond what we just put out on the first.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I just listened to your EP. Oh, somebody here. Pause.
Sounds like a door. What's up?
Yeah.
You're good?
My debit card wasn't in my wallet.
Is it in my wallet?
No.
No, we're good. It's good. Like we haven't had to pause the podcast before. It's usually because of the dog, though. But, okay. Anyways, I was going to say, I listened to your EP this morning.
Thank you.
The one on Bandcamp starts out with...
Yep, Icklingham.
Icklingham.
Yep.
So this is your most recent stuff that you've put out also?
Yep, so far it's the only thing that I've officially put out.
Okay, cool. I totally dig it. I was going to ask while I was listening to it, I got a hint of like a Dashboard Confessional vibe a little bit on some of this stuff. Is that a compliment or an influence?
No, it's definitely a compliment, but I've never really listened to them.
Really? Oh, okay.
I mean, but no, like I get like the early 2000s kind of, I don't know, pop emo, whatever.
Yeah, I almost want to call it emo, but I know that for some people they take offense to that.
It's probably the easiest.
Yeah.
To come up with.
What would you call it? I guess.
Kind of like Midwest emo, I think.
Okay.
It's
Can you
indie rock, I guess.
What's it about? What's the EP? Does it have kind of a general?
It was the 4 songs that I was most comfortable with at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
So Icklingham is a song that I wrote for my dad when I was living in Florida, because like, I don't know, being away from family is hard and not being able to see him. Plastic Horses is just a dumb breakup song that I wrote, I think, 4 years ago. and just never was in a band or anything. Could never do anything with it.
Okay, cool. Dude, I totally have some songs like that. Like, I have this one song that I've been playing with every band or project I've been in since like 8th grade.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, it just like I still play it. So I totally get that. Yeah, it survives the test of time. So you threw it on your EP, dude. That's cool.
Yeah.
What about the other two? Ceiling Paint? What's that one?
That's just a sad song I wrote about high school. Like,
Cool.
I mean, everybody goes through like mental health issues, and that was just kind of like a reflective, like looking back, like I was a dumb kid. Should have reached out earlier.
Yeah. So this is kind of like reflecting
Yeah.
on that. Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Just like, I mean, you gotta get better.
Yeah, yeah. And what's HPD
Oh.
stand for? I'm curious about that.
Hard powdered drugs.
Okay. Cocaine reference or what?
Kind of. Like, do you know what Tron is?
Like the movie Tron?
It's a synthetic, like, cocaine acid mix.
I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. This is new.
Don't.
This is
yeah,
new for
don't-
me.
Don't try it.
Don't do it.
find
But
it.
you wrote a song about it.
Yeah, one of my friends was like super into it, and like, I don't know.
Not podcast material, maybe.
Yeah, maybe not. No, it was just like some of the stories I heard about it was just like super like wild because it like I haven't done coke, but I'm familiar with how that like happens.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stories were just like completely just like over the top.
Okay. So is this song kind of like just your interpretation of
Yeah, it's my secondhand experience with hard drugs.
Okay, cool.
Gavin's straight edge except for Four Loko.
Except for Four Loko. That's
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I tried to not drink for a while, and I think Four Loko was what did me in again.
It's hard, man, when you're on tour. That's like the normal thing too.
Yeah.
Oh man, Lily.
Oh, yeah. So we were in Chicago, and we played at Lily's, which is a fantastic little bar. And she was walking around. She was like, "Are you Gabe?" I was like, "No, I'm Gavin." She's like, "Who's Gabe? Is that Gabe?"
I should have stayed at the merch table. I should have stayed away from the bar.
Eventually, she found Gabe because Gabe was the one who put the show together. And she was like, "Oh, you want? Was it Maker's Mark?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Poured like, quote unquote, a shot of Maker's Mark, which was really just like half a cup of Maker's Mark.
It was an interesting experience.
Sounds like a fun night.
She was like, the door kept opening on its own, like to the bar, and then she'd be like, "Come in," when it would open, just like to no one. And it was a good night. I like that place. Lily's is cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say though, like when you were talking about the Lakenheath EP, like all those songs are so catchy.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed when I listened to it,
Thank
because
you.
when he was like, "Let's tour," I took another listen through. It's just like, these are all so catchy, and like I've been hearing them so much, like every night, that I just sing just terrible versions of them in the car, like
Yeah.
without realizing it. Like I'm not even trying to be stupid, and I'll just like start singing his song and be like, "Oh, he's in the seat by me. This is amazing," like, because I always get the lyrics wrong. and everything.
Yeah.
No, the songwriting's it's a good thing.
Thank you.
Heck yeah. That's cool. So, how many more shows do you guys have on this tour?
We have, I think, let's see, 3.
Yeah, tonight
Three or
or
four.
Jackpot, then Omaha, and
Yeah.
then
Okay.
closing in the hole in Keokuk.
Right.
So, you're just past the halfway mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you said everything's been good so far, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, nothing really crazy's happened. You know, it's been, like, we've played a variety of different shows. Like, we've played a house show up at the Garage, which is, like, one of my favorite venues up in Minnesota. Then we've played a couple coffee shops, some bars, and, you know, tonight we're playing the Jackpot here in Lawrence, and another coffee shop, and then, like, another house, kind of house-type venue. It's like a DIY venue, I guess, in Keokuk. So it's a nice, like, different range of shows, and it's nice to play in different environments, because, you know, coffee shops, super chill. Like, I'll cover Hunter Dumpus here songs, I'll cover The Killers, I'll just extend my songs. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, sets like tonight, when there's actual, you know, people are there just to see you, it's more of the focal point. Like, you know, I play, like, a more cohesive set of just, like, piano stairs material. So, It's been a variety.
Yeah.
Nothing bad's happened. We've just been eating carrots and driving.
And as Piano Stairs, you just have that one song released so far, right? Your single?
Yeah, so I released Third World War earlier this year, and then I have recorded and am in the process of producing 10 songs for a full length.
Okay, cool.
So
very cool.
It's been nice for tour because there's lots of material. Like I don't have the struggle of, well, I'm out of Piano Stairs songs now, like because I have so many of them. That I've just recently written and recorded, so they're still all fresh and everything.
Yeah.
So I've basically just been playing my favorites or the ones that go over the best. And that's been fun. And so that'll probably be out, like, the full length, I would say, later this year. Like, it'll
Cool.
be a good winter album, just, like, for the vibe of it and everything.
Cool. Very cool. So what kind of venues do you guys think are the best for acoustic tours? Because that's kind of a different field house than what I'm used to. Like, I'm used to being in a full band and doing, like, because I've played at the Jackpot before where you guys are playing tonight, and I'm just curious because I've seen you guys in, like, it looks like a house. You know, you've done probably a couple house venues and bars. And when it comes to, like, an acoustic solo tour, which one do you guys prefer?
I think for me, house shows are kind of where I thrive more. You don't have to worry about like being mic'd up, and it's a bit more intimate. People are closer. You're not 3 feet taller on a stage. Everybody's as close as it can get, which
That's
makes
cool.
me feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. What about you?
I liked them all for different reasons. Probably like the least of which would be like the bar venues, just because like I think it's the least suitable for what we do. But I'd have to say like house shows are great for what Gavin said, like being unmiked and just like joking around with people and super informal. You know, like at the end of one of my songs, I've been sick, so like I was more sick when we started, so I got really lightheaded and just like slammed into Gavin's blinds and like knocked my water over and it spilled, and it was just a thing that happened. But it didn't matter because it was a house show. But then we played, you know, at some venues where they throw a lot of like reverb on your voice and it just sounds huge, and like that's super cool. And then coffee shops, I used to do that a lot when I was just Hunter Dumped Us here solo. Like I used to just play for like 3 hours with friends. Like they would just come work on stuff, like work on homework or hang out. So I feel very comfortable in that environment too. I'm a fan of coffee, so I like them all for different reasons. I'd have to say if I could only do one, I'd probably do house. Like if I had to do all of one type of show for the tour, I would do house shows. Those
cool.
are always going to be preferable, I think, just because it's the most attentive environment most of the time, just because if somebody's just not listening and talking, it's pretty obvious. So everybody, you know, they kind of have to listen, and it's also informal at the same time, so it's just like a big hangout.
Yeah, very cool. I love house shows. Those are some of my favorite too.
Yeah, and same for Hunter Dumped Us here. Like we've played some really cool house shows that are a lot of fun.
Okay, but what about when you guys are with a full band? Does that change, do you think? Like if you had a preference, it's probably more venues like maybe the Jackpot or something like that.
Just give me a venue that's like respectful and has good sound, and like that's all I care about really. It maybe even like just more respectful than the good sound, like but honestly too,
good sound's kind of overrated, right?
I mean, like if you're running your own stuff, like Hunter Dumped Us here's gotten to the point like we've learned with having, you know, keyboard and guitar and bass. We have 2 guitars on some songs. We've learned, you know, what we need to do to keep everything under control, tone-wise, volume-wise. So I definitely don't mind just like setting up in a basement and just running mics and then doing everything else through amps. But like if I had to choose one type of venue, I'd probably say just like a decent venue that's got good sound. And, you know, they respect the bands and you respect them, and it's not an awkward thing.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Just like small clubs with a decent sound system.
Yeah.
House shows are great. I just find with full bands it can be difficult setting up and getting everything out of the way in time.
Yeah.
A good schedule.
Yeah, and fitting all your gear.
Right. Some of my most, I guess, shows that I was like most confused about, like, why are they doing a show in that environment, have been some of my favorites though for full band. Like when we toured last year as Hunter Dumped Us here, we played at an electronic hookah lounge in San Antonio, Texas. So it was basically like a vape lounge. Like they didn't have any standard hookahs. It was all just like the electronic modules. but it ended up being like one of my favorite shows of tour because it was just like really cool people.
Yeah.
Just a small little like storefront space, and it was
that's
just
cool.
really DIY.
I've actually considered like trying to book shows at hookah houses because
I think
they always are playing loud music, and there's one here on Mass Street, pretty much like 2 blocks from where you guys are playing tonight. And they have a pretty decent like PA system and all that because they do karaoke and stuff.
Is that the one upstairs? Like you walk upstairs?
Yeah.
I went there one time and I'm not even kidding. They were pumping country through that sub so hard. Like it was just like some really like.
It depends. Yeah, depending on when you go in there, it could be some pretty weird music. Or a lot of the time they have that app where everyone can just pick songs and like cast it, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think a hookah house show would be really cool, especially for acoustic.
For sure, like
perfect.
Be a really chill environment, and I think that'd be awesome. I have had some really interesting experiences playing at hookah lounges, but some of them have been good.
Yeah,
for sure. It was funny when I went to that hookah lounge though that's here. The guy like looked at my ID and he's like, "You're from Iowa. What do you think of this country?" It's like it's just music. I'd rather it be something else. To be honest, I don't think Iowa's the country capital of the United States, sir.
Yeah. I don't
think
think
so.
so.
A cloud big enough to fill up an acoustic.
Oh, I bet I could.
Heck yeah.
A DIY fog machine.
Well, anything else you guys want to like talk about or plug before we get to the music part of it? Oh yeah, for the listeners, you guys are going to be playing some songs. This is new for me. Yeah. I'm so stoked to put these at the end of the episode. So we should cover whatever you guys wanna plug, and then we can get to the part where you just tell me about what song you're gonna play, and then we can start working on recording that if you want.
Plug. I've got the free EP on Bandcamp, Spotify. It's on iTunes, but don't buy it from iTunes.
Don't spend money on it.
Don't spend money. It's free on Bandcamp.
Bandcamp. There you go.
And you just set up a Lakenheath Christian mingle too.
I did.
Sweet.
Yeah. My girlfriend's not gonna be happy about that.
Okay.
She's not Christian, so I'm not terribly worried.
She won't find it. She'll never know.
I'm sorry.
It's the grinder that I'm worried about.
So you're on iTunes?
Yes.
You're good.
I've got a couple things on YouTube. We played in Lake Erie the other day. Like, not a venue at Lake Erie. We played in Lake Erie. Mm-hmm. Got kind of wet, so put up a video of that on YouTube. If you want to look up Lakenheath Plastic Horses Splash Sessions.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like a live video type thing? Okay, cool.
His
Very
guitar
cool.
got really wet, but it's okay.
Swallowed them.
Is that why it's called Splash?
It is, yeah.
Yep.
What do they do? Like, what is that? What do they do?
Well, he was just like, we went down to this beach and we were just like killing time, and I think it was our off day, and I was like, let's do some videos. So I filmed like just a really calm, serene video.
Oh, I think I saw that actually. You're sitting on some rocks.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
And then he's like, well, I'm just gonna get a little bit closer and stand in the water. And they had like these concrete barriers set up, and I was like, that seems kind of extreme for just a lake. But then, like 30 seconds in, he just gets owned by like a huge wave. Like it hits like the concrete and just splashes over and just douses the man. And so his guitar is dripping, his hair is dripping. But he was a trooper. He finished out the song.
I don't get wet and not finish.
Yeah, so and it's on there. So it's a good thing. It's worth a watch.
That's awesome. Cool, man. So iTunes, well, not iTunes, Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Lakenheath. And where can everyone find your stuff?
Lil Yachty on YouTube. That's the best way to pull up my stuff. It's in the relateds. So yeah, Hunter dumped us here. We have basically.
He was actually here like 3 days ago.
Why?
Did you hear
was
about
I on
that?
Tour? No, I didn't.
He
No.
played at the Late Night at the Fog on campus.
My favorite video, I think, I have 2 favorite videos on the internet, and they're both him. One of them's like an interview where he just says he doesn't eat fruits and vegetables, and he just eats pizza every day, and he doesn't smoke or drink. And and then the other one, he's like yelling at the crowd because they're not getting into it, and then he just goes into the song called like Minnesota, and it just sounds terrible. But that's a side note. I could talk about Lil Yachty for 2 hours. But Hunter dumped us here. We have like everything. You can find Keys, which is the re-release, the re-recorded song.
Okay,
EP
cool.
that we just put out. It's a follow-up to Key, technically, which was a solo album I released as Hunter back in like 2014.
Cool.
So you can find Keys and our actual full-length, I Understand, on Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp. Again, that's all pay what you want. Apple Music, Amazon, all that good stuff, Facebook. And then Piano Stairs has Third World War out on Spotify. And then we'll have that I'll have the full length coming up in probably a few months. And Facebook, I mean, people can just add me as Gabe Reasoner as long as you just don't send me, hey, what's up, with nothing else. Like, just send me like a good sentence and we'll talk.
Yeah, I hear you there.
I'll respond no matter what, realistically, but just send me something funny, make me smile.
Yeah, make a statement.
Yeah.
Come out with a bang.
Definitely.
Don't just like plant the little hey what's ups.
Exactly.
No waves, none of that.
Give me something interesting. That's what I want.
Yeah, for sure. Poop emoji.
Yeah.
That works.
Give me a poop emoji. We'll talk. We'll talk for hours. Even better, just start talking to me about Lil Yachty. We'll never stop.
All right, now everybody knows.
Yeah.
Message Gabe
That's all it
about Lil
takes.
Yachty, and he'll be your best friend
Absolutely.
forever.
Or direct me to Lil Yachty so I can meet him. That's all I want.
Cool, dude. Well, you guys can pick what order, but you should tell me what song you guys want to play, and then we'll get going on that. And you just want to tell me a little bit about the song itself, and then I can hit play.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll do Icklingham, the first song of the EP.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you already talked about it, so
Yeah,
cool.
perfect.
I will play that at the end.
I'm going to do a song called Fallen Star, and it's off. There's a video for it that Mayfield Creative did, which is Zach from Earth Crones. You can find that video on YouTube. Just search Fallen Star, Piano Stairs. Fallen Star is all one word. And that song's just kind of about like toxic friendships / relationships in your life that it's kind of like speculating on those and whether or not they're worth it and how to tell whether or not they're worth it and just recognizing when one isn't worth saving or worth maintaining.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I think I made a barista mad with it a few nights ago. I started singing it and I got to a line about saving somebody for a rainy day and she just shook her head and walked away. So enjoy.
That rhymed.
It did.
Unintentionally.
That was sweet.
Is that part of the song?
It's not, but it will be now.
Now it's a tag.
Yeah.
Now it's the intro. Cool. Well, thanks for doing this, guys.
Yeah, absolutely,
I really
man.
appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming. You're welcome anytime here in
Yeah,
town, for sure.
definitely.
And I expect Hunter Dumped Us here to play in Lawrence.
Oh, certainly.
Absolutely in the near future.
Yes.
And I'll get some of the other guys from the band hopefully at
Yeah.
that point. So
Hearts are weirder. Veins are weird. Hearts are weirder. The blood they carry is moving faster. You're so angry without much reason. You look like you could use a highway drive. You look like you could use a highway drive. There's more than you and I in these Midwest nights. Sitting alone again and talking about our failures. Phones are strange, words a stranger. Phones are strange, words are stranger. We burn our bridges with help of towers. We're so enslaved to godlike signals. You look like you could use some Klonopin. You look like you could use some Klonopin. There are things you said that you can't take back again. And making our friendship work is admitting that we're both failures. So I tried to save you for a rainy day, but I couldn't keep you dry. Now in my pocket, you weren't safe from all this rain or irony. I tried to save you for a rainy day, but I couldn't keep you dry. Now in my pocket, you weren't safe from all this rain or irony. I tried to save you for a rainy day, but I couldn't keep you dry. Here in my pocket, you weren't safe from all this rain or irony. I tried to save you for a rainy day, but I cannot bear this burden. I'm so sorry, I didn't ask you to be sorry for me. I tried to save you for a rainy day, but I couldn't keep you dry. Here in my pocket, you weren't safe from all this rain that fell on me. Rap music.
By the time I get to 50, I'm gonna have a lot of money. By the time I get the money, I'm gonna be gone.
Everyone that I love's waiting for me back. Everyone that I love's waiting for me back. Everyone that I love's waiting for me back. Everyone that I love's waiting for me back home. Dad, it feels so good to finally be back home. Spent too long in seclusion, where I always felt alone. I needed purpose and belonging, and that's exactly what I found. Get the promise and assure you that I'll always be around.
By the time I get the money, I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna cop a big ass home and never will I live alone.
Everyone that I love's waiting for me back. Everyone that I love's waiting for me back. Everyone that I love's waiting for me back. Everyone that I love's waiting for me back home. Everyone that I love's waiting for me back. Everyone that I love's waiting for me back. Everyone that I love's waiting for me back home.
Way to silence.
I know. Gotta like stop the panting when it's quiet.
As soon as I could hear it to the headphones, just